Ladies and gentlemen, all the friends who are watching online, welcome to 2020 International Design Forum. This year's Taiwan Design Expo takes place in Hsinchu, a city of rich history and prosperous high-tech industry. Today, we're going to show you how design can change the landscape of Hsinchu and revitalizes the entire city. Today's forum is joined by experts from home and abroad who are going to share with us the latest design trends and show the world what Taiwan has to offer. We're very much looking forward to their talks. We're going to invite the Director General of Industrial Development Bureau, Ministry of Economic Affairs, Taiwan, Jang-Hwa to talk about how to take Taiwan's industry to the next level through promotion of policies and design. Let's welcome Mr. Liu.
很多人以为台湾工业的规模很小，但你可能不知道，小那是故意的，小到一根线织成的高机能布料，打造出革命性的纤维产品，在武术比赛中帮你崇拜的运动明星拿下世界冠军。我们不只制造电烧手术刀，我们监控表面小到看不见的微生物体，加上世界级无菌制程严格把关，才能在最危急的时刻救你一命。还有你的手机，藏在里头的超迷你晶片，为了更节能、更快速、及时处理海量资讯，每一毫米承载的精密程度无人能比。因为有扎实的基础技术，我们故意挑这些小到不行的领域，做看起来不起眼的东西，还努力达成循环永续。现在全世界供应链都得尊称我们一声巨巨。我们是台湾的工业，小就是我们最强大的竞争力。50年 ，small but mighty， 始终前进。大家好，我是经济部工业局吕振华局长，今天要来跟大家分享是运用设计来提升产业发展。你以为台湾的工业规模很小吗？我们在2300万人，其实是世界排名是第57，我们的面积是第137名，36000平方公里。可是我们的产业在全世界都是名列前茅。所以我们的制造，台湾的竞争力在全球世界竞争力的排比是第11名，在经济体的部分排第21名。我们有很好的高阶自行车的产业，我们有笔电，我们有桌上型电脑，那尤其晶圆制造，我们是全球第一。行动装置也是在过去有很多很好的一些隐形冠军。那很多的产品背后都有台湾的影子。我们做车用零件，我们做防寒衣，我们做航太的扣件，很多的手机的晶片，因为台湾做的性能好，价格平实，最重要是能够获得国际客户的信任。台湾的制造很强，可是你可能不知道台湾的设计这几年也发展得非常好。我们可以看到，因为台湾已经从过去效率驱动的模式转型到创新驱动，所以呢，世界经济论坛 WEF 在台湾、德国、美国跟瑞士并列为全球的4大超级创新国。我们怎么样去推这样的设计产业呢？我们透过办理新一代设计展，每年在这些大学、大专院校所毕业的设计科系，在5月的时候会有一个新一代设计展。从1982年开办到现在，已经39届，每年参与的人呢都超过1万人以上。2020年呢，展出64个学校、138的科系，超过4000件的作品来这个平台 来去做观摩展示。那设计相关的科系的学生呢，有7.5万人，每学年度毕业的学生有1.7万人。这些设计的生力军源源不断的投入我们的产业设计当中。我们过去从2019到累积下来的这个逐年对于国际的4大奖项，我们已经有统计4170件，那包括196件的首奖，还有金奖，德国 IF 红点奖的部分呢，台湾是排名第3。在国际设计组织里头呢，我们跟24个国家、51个国际设计组织来去做合作。我们也办了世界设计大会，到现在还是持续参与国际组织的一个活动。2011 IDA 台北世界设计大会集合全世界1200位设计师，6000件的展品，有超过34个国家来参展，参观的人数呢高达138万人次。这2016我们进一步来举办台北世界设计之都这样的活动，有13个国际城市，2300平的展览空间，8000位的民众来参与，让台北成为世界设计之都。在经典设计奖的部分，我们也希望能够变成亚洲地区发展最快的设计奖项。我们今年2020的报名件数有27个国家7681件，国际的件数占60%。那台湾设计的产业这样推动之下，我们也希望能够全民美学的运动导入，同时呢，让产业来更多的产品开发设计。在国际合作跟拓展中，我们持续跟国际的组织来去做连结。那对于设计的影响力，怎么样达到城市美学跟社会设计，都是我们推动的一个重点。今年更重要的是，我们成立了国家设计研究院。那为什么要成立这样的设计研究院呢？因为我们看到美国跟日本，他们其实因为融入设计、融入研发、融入品牌，所以制造业的附加价值率呢比台湾来得高。那我们也努力，希望能够把这个附加价值，把 ICT 导入，让它数位转型，把设计导入，让它附加价值有效的提升。所以呢，国际间我们也看到很多运用设计来创造价值的部分，有很多的案例，像英国的 Design Council， 它指出投资设计1英镑可以产出4英镑的利润，并且增加20英镑的销售。美国 DMI 的调查发现，近10年来强调设计的企业，这个股价会高于其他的企业211%。所以设计确实能够创造价值。在国际的案例，大家耳熟能详的 Apple， 它重视使用者需求的开发策略，所以很多这个 Apple 的使用者用了 Apple 的一个产品之后呢，它能够连着度在 Apple 的一个开发系统当中。那 Tesla 的部分也透过设计来打造未来的交通工具，运用数位科技，让车主能够有前所未有的创新体验。那当然，它设计中如果能够结合环保，把这些可再生纱作为座椅、纺织材料等等，来减少水资源的使用，也都对于我们的环境有永续的概念。所以设计呢，从没有设计到设计转型为设计美学，到设计作为研发的流程，到作为未来的经营策略，一点一滴，我们一步一步去推台湾的设计产业。所以我们希望设计改变产业，透过设计力来引领产业设计创新，还有导入各个应用，衍生出高价值的设计知识跟应用。这里面可以跟自行车连接，可以跟电动车也可以连接，跟口罩我们都可以把设计的含量摆上去。同时对医疗产业跟地方创新也都能够实现跨域的应用，让我们的设计影响我们的生活，影响我们的产品，提升我们的附加价值。像自行车产业的部分，我们可以透过品牌的角色定位来 创造品牌的重效。我们知道我们的捷安特有4大品牌，这4大品牌它分对不同的族群，对女性的有 Live 的这样的一个品牌，对于通勤的有 Momentum， 那当然捷安特这样的一个品牌已经深植人心。我们在智慧电动机车的产业呢，机车不一定只有机车，所以 Gogoro 呢是透过过去在 ICT 累积的能量，它的创办人 Horos 能够把 ICT 手机的设计的模式导入在机车产业，变成新的设计。那它勇夺日本设计大奖2018 Good Design Award， 从客户的使用者的体验来出发，那透过优异的车体设计，还有能源管理平台，让这个电源交换成为台湾目前一个很好的一个实证案例。在口罩的部分，其实因为台湾都知道台湾防疫有功，口罩是一个很重要的元素。那我们在口罩的产量能够达到一定程度之后，我们也开始跟口罩厂商去讨论，怎么样让口罩跟衣着穿搭能够变成时尚的一部分。原本医疗的口罩大概色彩比较单纯，那很多的口罩厂商也开发出不同的 Tiffany 蓝，或者是紫罗兰，或者是荷兰的橘色，其实也会变成民众追寻流行的一个口罩时尚。在医疗产业的部分，其实病房的一个建构，我们也运用设计以人为本。那对于遇到这个紧急的一个病毒侵袭的时候，如果要类似有方舱医院的这样的建构，其实可以导入更多的设计的概念，在建构这样的临时病房的时候，就能够把可环保性、可再生利用的材质一起导入，让它变成一个有设计的一个医疗产业。那在地方的产业推动当中呢，其实我们去年跟屏东办理台湾设计展，那屏东就想说它地方很多农特产，所以它推出了一个叫好评便当，那可以把屏东很好的农渔牧的食材，让小农的供应商把食材进行开发，然后变成一个有特色的便当。那总统呢，也在我们一些设计论坛勉励我们要努力推动设计，尤其他觉得说，过去台湾是以 Made in Taiwan 来闻名世界，那未来我们更要让 Design in Taiwan 能够名扬全球。包括今年的总统创新奖也特别颁发给台湾设计研究院，这个表示我们的最高总统呢，也对于设计是非常支持。那当然，在行政院的指导之下，工业局呢一定会努力对于设计产业如何让它创造价值，以及价值创造对于这个国家做出更多的贡献。最后呢，要谢谢大家的聆听，也希望大家未来在设计产业替我们的国家能够发挥更多的一个投入，还有建立，让我们国家创新体系底下的产业界、政府部门、研究单位，大家一起共同为台湾的设计而努力。谢谢大家。
Ladies and gentlemen, next we're going to be joined by the president of WDO, World Design Organization, Srinivasan. He's going to share with us WDO's take on urban design. Let's welcome Srinivasan.
Hello, everybody. It's indeed my pleasure to be here today to make a presentation about WDO and also about the cities and what design can do to cities for making the life better for its citizens. WDO is a reverent international network to design the world of tomorrow. We have a long history. From 1957 till now, we are the only international global design organization that connects with education, corporates, promotional entities, as well as cities to promote design how design can make our life better for tomorrow. We are also accorded the UN consultative status, and we've been working with the UN agencies to create some socially impressive projects, which we will talk about a little bit later. From 1957, when we started, we were primarily focused on industrial design. We were also called as ICSID, International Council of Societies of Industrial Design, where the focus was manufacturing, specialization, and products, which were mostly consumer driven. Fast forward to 2017, when we changed the name, where creativity and collaboration became the major focus for us, and we also became more solution oriented as opposed to a product driven. Today, we adopt the SDG 17 goals, and among the 17 goals, we have chosen a few of them that have got a direct relationship to design. As the international voice for industrial design, we advocate, promote, and share knowledge of industrial design-driven innovation that has the power to contribute to the betterment of our world. The next few slides, you can see the different aspects of how we have been interfacing with the society to improve their lives. This one shows you the current board of directors, where you can see people from different parts of the world who are currently the board members. They have till October 2021 when a new board will be elected, including the new president. Our membership as of last year, October, when we took the count, stands at 173 members, where we have completely spread across all the 6 regions, and among the 5 pillars, we are well recognized and represented. So what do we do? So we actually connect with our membership across the globe for doing very good, effective programs. Some of them are the World Design Assembly, World Industrial Design Day that we celebrate on June 29th of each year, which is our birthday actually, the day on which ICSID was formed in 1957. And we also have World Design Impact Prize, where we recognize a prize which has the most impactful for the society. We also have World Design Capital. If you remember, Taipei was chosen as the World Design Capital in the year 2016. The current World Design Capital is Lille Metro in France, and the next one, 2022, is in Valencia in Spain. And the next program of 2024, we are still yet to open the bid for cities to compete and win if they win the competition. A new program that came up in the last year was World Design Corporate Circle, where we invite the top global companies to come together and share their problems that they face in their industry, in their product, and then collectively discuss what design can do for the betterment of this world. This is a brand new program, so where we invite a select maybe 8 or 7 or 8 people to come together and work on that basis. So we have just started the first program. And we also initiated a youth design circle. So where the young designers from across the globe who are 35 years or less, they come together and they adopt SDG to see what the world will look like for the future of their generations. So that's another very important program that we commenced last year, and we will see the results at the General Assembly in 2021 in October. We also have the World Design Talks. That's typically 1 or 2 day events where the member organization or the host organization pick up a topic that is very relevant to their city and then discuss by having the experts in that particular field. Some of the topics that we have discussed in the past include mobility, water, and congestion related topics. So people of that particular subject matter experts will come, they discuss, and then we have the whole participants get into a workshop mode and see if there is a prototyping that we can do. So World Design Assembly is the most important of all the events for us, where we do once in 2 years, where we get to talk about the plans, the strategic plans of World Design Organization going forward. We also invite special speakers on different topics. And then we also announced the World Design Capital of the future capital, as well as elect the new board. Industrial Design Day, we already talked about it. World Design Talks, we talked. And World Design Impact Prize is a recognition which is happening every 2 years. The industrial design that improves the quality of life in a given community. We also have the endorsement, where we work with our members to bless that event in terms of, spreading the message of design. World Design Capital is one of the marquee programs where throughout the year, the city celebrates design, and there are 8 to 12 events that take place as signature events, what we call, where people come together and then they celebrate design. They invite international visitors, maybe investors, maybe other partnerships, they come together and celebrate the city that has been nominated as the World Design Capital. Another program that we are putting it on the anvil is called World Design Protopolis. The World Design Protopolis is a new program which we are piloting, where a given city will take a period of 3 to 5 years, as opposed to the World Design Capital, which is just 1 year program. The World Design Protopolis is a 3 to 5 year program where we work with the city in terms of planning their activities, in seeing how they can solve a growing metropolitan cities challenges. So this is a very important program for the cities, because they want to really see what can be done in a period of 3 to 5 years, because most of the time the population increases at a faster rate than the infrastructure that is matching. So therefore, design comes handy to solving these urban design challenges, and Protopolis is a good example where the city is prototyping solutions over a period of 3 to 5 years to see what impact design can do and what WDO can help them in terms of doing this. Of course, Interdesign is a program that we've been doing for quite a lot of time. We've been doing this for several years from 1971, and this is a 2-week program where maybe 40 to 50 designers come together, half of them from outside the city where it is happening. International designers come together for a full 2-week period to understand the problem and try to come up with solutions. So the last Interdesign happened in the city of Mumbai in 2014, February. So what do we do? So the design thinking process is what we apply to all of our programs, where we first empathize with the problem and we define what needs to be done, and then we proceed with the normal scenario of ideating, promoting, and developing a solution. So in the recent past, what is WDO doing when the COVID is affecting everybody and we are all homebound and we are not able to meet together for events? What is it that WDO has been doing? WDO has been much more active than in the previous months before the COVID-19. In April of this year, we collaborated with IBM and also Design for America to come up with a 2-week challenge to discuss about the COVID-related problems and how we can communicate to the masses, because at that time, at the beginning of COVID, people were still not sure how they should proceed. What should they do? If people get COVID in their homes, what should they do? And what should the people who are not having COVID should do? So these were some of the very critical problems that the society were facing. So we had a challenge over a 2-week period, and we had 21 teams from across the globe, and we had 225 participants. So which is virtually a 24/7. We had participants going all the way from Japan and on the western side all the way to San Francisco, San Diego. And so we had a very long 18-hour time difference between one to the other side. So we had calls at 5 a.m. and that kind of stuff because we needed to bring everybody together. So and the next one, which is more impressive, we just recently concluded a solution-based challenge with UN Women, which is based in Asia Pacific. They're headquartered in Bangkok. One of the challenges that we face in this world today is violence against women and young girls. So this is highlighted during the COVID period when people not able to move outside. The violence against women was shown to be much more than in the previous times. So along with UN Women, WDO launched another challenge, again with the 2-week challenge, where we had participants from more than 33 countries, and we had 6 different themes which we discussed very passionately and very convincingly to understand how we can stop, how we can prevent, how can we report any violence that is being happening for women and younger girls. So that was a super success program. We recently concluded that. For more information, you can go to our website and you will be able to see the results of this particular challenge. So if you look at the next few slides, I'm just highlighting what we did and what they came up with the solutions. In all, they came up with possibly 25 or 26 solutions that could be attempted by anybody. All of the solutions that were discussed and presented, they're all public domain in the sense, the IP belongs to common community property. Anybody who sees a challenge they want to implement in their own city is most welcome, and we are very happy to support because we want the solutions to be implemented in as many cities in the world as possible. So therefore, there is no clutches. You can use them very freely. And the next challenge we just announced, as you might have seen, we just announced we are actually going to the space. So now we launched a call for the next design challenge where we are talking about design in space for life on Earth. Because if you're saying what is happening, in space, because there are a lot of good things that are happening in space. For example, as a simple example, if you were to manufacture retina, they found out that manufacturing a retina in outer space, in the International Space Station, is much more efficient in terms of, because of the microgravity. If you manufacture something in a microgravity scenario, so the retina is much thinner than the normal retina that you can manufacture on Earth. So such groundbreaking innovation is possible when we do things in a zero or a microgravity scenario. So we are going to do what else we can do. The challenge is still not begun, but we have called people and we are getting a lot of people to participate. They're volunteering. So we're going to have, you please watch out on our website as we move on to this challenge. So we actually, as you know, the global current scenario is a lot of pandemic, and the typical global problems have not gone through, which is, traffic congestions, health-related problem, crime, overcrowding, mobility is an issue, and education is an issue for a lot of developing countries. So we, with the lens of design, World Design Organization is striving hard to work with the cities predominantly to create solutions that can make a place a better place for all of us in this world. Thank you for listening, and I wish this event a grand success.
Next, we're going to invite the president of Taiwan Design Research Institute, G.E. Chang, to share with us how to solve the city's problems with design. Let's welcome President Chang.
各位观众朋友，大家好，我是台湾设计研究院院长张基义。那今天非常高兴有机会跟大家分享台湾 by Design 设计台湾。台创中心在过去17年来的努力，终于在2002年2月升格为台湾设计研究院。那过往我们是实现价值，过往是重点在设计的专业人才。那未来升格之后，我们是一个创造价值，那主要是跨域的设计人才的培养。那我们过去做了很多的产业的推广、辅导跟展览，那未来更要把设计的位阶往上提升，做设计政策、企业创新、公共服务、社会创新跟设计外交。那全世界有非常多的先进国家都在发展设计，那用公共服务的大门，运用设计的能量来激发产业的创新。比方说美国，它用设计导入公共的政策；那在英国也有全世界最早的Policy Lab；那在丹麦也是引导全球的设计趋势，也是全球第一个订定设计政策的国家。那在泰国也把设计跟科技整合在一起，把位阶提升到总理府，推动工业4.0。那在邻近的新加坡，更是推动高阶的公务人员都要上 Design Thinking 的课程。那韩国也是用国家的力量，推动内容跟设计的振兴院。那日本也运用设计来振兴中小企业。那我们看到设计力怎么样驱动国家的创新发展？第一个要用设计力从美学提升到经营的策略。那在整个设计的位阶上来讲，从无设计到设计作为造型的美学，那更高阶让设计变成整个研发的流程。那最高阶的设计应该是作为经营的策略。那目前台湾大部分是中小企业，我们都在设计位阶的第2阶，是把设计当成为造型美学。那很少部分的台湾的企业，大企业里面有设计部门，是把设计作为研发的流程。那我们希望台湾未来，不管是公部门，不管是民间企业，都可以把设计变成整体的一个经营的策略。像国外的Apple、IBM 跟 Dyson， 那整个设计力，它未来是朝向科学化跟多元的运用。所以我们希望设计力是除了设计美学，它在使用者经验，在多元的这个运用方面，更能够整合技术。那今年我们非常荣幸，在9月2号，到总统府领取了中华民国的设计的最高的荣誉总统创新奖。那我们是第4届的得主。那经过17年的努力，那我们在今年不仅升格为设计研究院，那我们更是得到总统创新奖最高荣誉的肯定。那总统在会中也指出，设计力就是国力。现在在全球的发展趋势当中，已经走向创意经济、体验经济的时代。善用设计的力量来驱动产业创新、经济发展，更是导入产业升级重要的软实力。那怎么样让国家重视设计，让设计变成一个国家的竞争力？那其中是2块区域非常重要。那第一个就是城市的设计力，那第2个就是企业的设计力。那我们相信，未来在推动城市的设计力里面，地方政府推动会提升它的施政满意度。那用设计重视的程度，可以从每个城市的标案跟决策的过程来看得出来。 或者举办设计的这样一个大的活动推动区域的这个设计产业那进一步推广全民美学服务的品质跟创新的示范。那在企业的设计力方面，让设计能够进入到决策的系统里面，那设计的部门的规模的增加那设计上的投资跟设计的产值跟设计的得奖数。那台湾在过去这几年来，越来越多的地方首长很重视设计，也开拓了城市治理的新的模式。比方今年在新竹，我们举办台湾设计展，那新竹就是用设计力导入城市治理的一个最佳典范。那去年屏东也是举办台湾设计展，用超级难展现屏东地方的软实力。那在我的故乡台东也成立了地方政府的第一个设计中心。那在台湾各地现在遍地开发。那在企业的部分，我们希望产业的设计力能够提升。那台湾的 Gogoro 也是一个非常好的典范，它是台湾企业的独角兽，是机车界的 iPhone。那透过企业的导入设计力，能够让产业升格，能够创造新的可能性。那在公共服务方面，透过设计的导入，我们去年有机会跟教育部合作，推动学美美学计划。我们在全国9所学校推动美感那从学生生活跟教育的场域，不管是教室、餐厅、司令台、指标系统、垃圾桶的整理、资源回收都能够让每一种小空间融入无感的体验，让学生因为新课纲的这个生活跟教育的体验，得到一个更好的教育环境。那我们也在去年有机会跟交通部公路总局合作，推动公寓美学计划。那这个北花线回游号是用公共的能量带动产业的发展所以我们从北花线的品牌定位，到车厢的打造，到指标系统，到整体的视觉的这个设计，都能够带动交通运输的美学。那整个流程除了是打造公共服务的新品牌以外，还用设计改造了产业的价值，也驱动了产业的升级。那整个是用减法设计的概念，创造疏花改运输服务的新价值。那今年因为 COVID-19 的关系，所以我们有机会跟辅大医院、跟小智研发共同来打造智慧的防疫病房。那每个卧它是模具化，是可调适性，那可以快速组装的概念，所以它全部是用可以回收的材料，包括是铝，用保特瓶可以回收打造。那它也是可以轻量小模组，可以按照环境的场所的条件做快速的组装那未来这个面对新型的冠状病毒的挑战，我们有机会把这个模式跟全球做分享。那台湾的公卫医疗是很重要一块，我们在今年也有机会跟新北市政府合作，创造卫生所再设计计划。那今年我们盘整了板桥、汐止、莺歌3个地方型的不同的卫生所，那透过从研究来了解使用者的行为，还包括管理者跟空间场域的需求，重新定义设计的路径跟流程。那从场域的踏勘、策略的沟通跟设计的验证，那我们未来在这个非常具有挑战性的环境里面，我们可以降低公卫人员的作业压力，提升民众健康的利用，还有创造卫生所的服务形象，那加速公共政策的落实那我们导入服务的流程，导入的品牌的设计，导入了企业的识别指标，还导入了空间的重新再设计。 那今年我们也有机会跟内政部消防署合作，重新打造台湾的消防栓箱跟灭火器的重新再设计。那过去安全是很重要，那灭火器跟消防栓箱是必要的安全设施。那未来我们跟产业工会跟消防署合作，那导入设计，希望能够设计又能够符合安全，又能够带动美学、环境品质的消防栓箱跟灭火器。那在过程当中，我们做了很多的突破包括视觉的，包括它的外形，包括它的机能，重新再设计。那我们相信提供更多元的选择，让未来的生活跟公共空间朝向更安全、更美质的可能性去发展。那今年我们有机会跟内政部消防署跟地方政府的消防局合作，我们用设计能够导入防灾教育，所以我们是透过设计师跟日本的神户设计中心合作那我们有一个社会设计的实践计划，号召国内的产业参加防灾重新再设计。那过程当中，我们启动了台日防灾教具的设计，还发展了防灾包那其中国内很多单位的投入包括慈济基金会、小北百货、诚品、台湾的无印良品等等。那今年我们也有机会做用设计导入社会的创新。那最典型的案例就是我们今年会从莺歌开始出发，我们有一个莺歌产地复兴计划。那莺歌传统是以陶瓷来发迹那这几年产业没落所以我们希望能够用设计能够带动地方产业的复兴那我们非常有策略的，是先打造地方的第一颗星，是打造地方产业成为国际品牌。那接续我们在希望地方的第二代能够把它扩大成为接班的团队，所以我们第二步是有产地 CEO 学院的这样的一个计划。那最后我们希望莺歌所有的工厂不只是生产，能够打开工厂能眷学让观光能够让体验经济能够导入到工厂。那上面等等的案例我们都有步骤、有策略、有计划，希望设计能够有一个非常清楚的roadmap 去推动。那设计力更需要政府跟民间的携手推动那未来慢慢的扩张台湾设计的影响力，让更多的企业、更多的公部门有创新的能量，提升设计的位阶，能够跟国际来连结所以我们的整个流程是希望先透过设计应用的标杆示范，到设计能力的普及，到设计知识的产业化，最后国家设计的一个品牌化能够循序去推动。那我们相信 Design can help， 我们相信台湾可以在设计的路上继续努力，设计可以改变台湾。那我们创造更多的典范，希望能够跟世界分享，能够用设计推动跟世界更多的连接。谢谢大家。
Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is David Kusuma, President-elect of WDO, World Design Organization. He's going to share with us technological innovations in the city and how to maximize the benefits of human beings through UN's SDGs. Let's welcome David Kusuma.
My dear friends and colleagues in Taiwan, it is my honor and my pleasure to join you via video to celebrate your Taiwan Design Expo 2020. My name is David Kusuma, President-elect of the World Design Organization, also known as WDO. The topic of the forum, which focuses on the relationship between design and the city, is very important and it's a very timely topic. So I would like to highlight how design can be utilized as a lever of change and also for development in future cities and communities. As you probably know, there is a lot of discussion today surrounding how design can play a strategic and a significant role in the planning and development of so-called smart cities. For those of you who have been connected to the WDO, you will know how design can contribute as a major driving force and also as a catalyst for global and social improvement. In fact, the United Nations has a 2030 agenda for sustainable development. This was agreed upon by UN member countries in 2015 to try and solve some of humanity's biggest challenges within 15 years from that time. Now, 7 of the original 17 SDGs were identified by WDO members as especially relevant to the global industrial design community. SDG number 11, for example, in particular, focuses on sustainable cities and communities, which is fully aligned with this year's theme. So this means championing design as a fundamental tool for making cities and human settlements more inclusive, more safe, more resilient, and of course, sustainable. With regards to the future of industrial design, it's an important time for the WDO and for the design profession as a whole. And it's a great time to be connected to the global design community. In order to think about future trends, we must first think about what is happening today and about all the great things we can achieve to improve the quality of life through design. The WDO has been promoting Design for a Better World, using the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as a guideline. So I want to highlight a few of the SDGs, which I feel are the most important and how they relate to cities and urban areas. The first trend is smarter products and also personalization. I would like to link this to SDG 9, which stands for Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure. And the focus of SDG 9 is to strengthen the connection between design, which is our profession, along with technology and R&D. Design and new products will expand the use of AI and robotics in future applications. I'm sure of it. As automation and connected products continue to permeate into our daily lives, big data will become even more important as new conveniences and new human benefits are made possible. For example, by using past data to predict future outcomes. In kitchen products and food storage, where I happen to be involved, big data can help to predict food spoilage based on past measurements of food, including temperature, humidity, VOCs, and sensory data. Of course, as more data is collected, AI can predict future expectations for when spoilage will happen by using algorithms to map past behavior and performance. So the promise of big data is that when more people use this product, it will make prediction more accurate, and it will also allow customization, including user preference and personalization. The next trend is healthy lifestyles. This is connected to SDG 3, which stands for Good Health and Well-Being. Now, promoting design-led innovation can help to reduce illness and to strengthen health and people's well-being. More and more than ever before, people are wanting to become healthy in their daily lives and in their activities. This includes personal care, it includes beauty, also nutrition, weight management, for example, fitness, preventative and personalized medications, and other lifestyle specializations. According to a study of the Global Wellness Institute, the global health and wellness market is valued at about $3.4 trillion US, which today is 3 times larger than the worldwide pharmaceutical industry. It's huge. Services and products in this area, they are expected to grow continuously and will also increase the growing trend of designing wearable devices, for example, fitness bands and trackers. The third trend I want to talk about is value for money. So this is connected to SDG 12, which stands for responsible consumption and responsible production. And it encourages the efficient use of our precious resources in the world. If we look at things like sustainability, we should be looking at alternative materials, and we should also be encouraging and applying responsible behaviors. I believe that these are the things designers can do. We can really create the opportunities for people so they can be environmentally friendly by helping them to reduce their carbon footprint. A lot of this has to do with education. At Tupperware, we have found that if we teach people to wash their housewares in cold water instead of in hot water, they can immediately reduce their carbon footprint in half. It's amazing. It doesn't take much, but it takes good design and it takes good education for people who end up using our products. And this goes along with value for money, especially during the time of COVID, of economic crises. Consumers want more value for their money. COVID-19 has created economic hardships for citizens in almost every country around the world. And as a consequence of the pandemic, many people have lost their employment, they've lost their livelihood. They need design to create value for consumers. And this has become even more important today as we look to design products and services, which has to provide high value to the people they're meant to serve. We must do our best to provide maximum benefit for the money people will spend, and this means designing products which provide maximum usage, possibly with multifunctional benefits, long-lasting quality and durability, and intuitive use of ease of use. Products that people will love to own because they are cost-effective and they improve the quality of their lives. Taking SDG further on the topic of sustainability, I must say that with the world's limited resources and really growing unfavorable environmental conditions, there is significant effort being placed on designers to design sustainable products. And today, there is a strong initiative led by major companies where almost every single global brand also has an environmental sustainable strategy. Consumers demand that companies make products which are more environmentally friendly and which do not create pollution. So this includes products which use sustainable materials and which can be, of course, reused at the end of their life cycle. In our work at Tupperware, we have taken this further and we have developed food storage containers using food science, which extends the freshness of food. This design and technology allows the consumer to save money. It reduces the amount of food being thrown away, which eventually lessens greenhouse gases. All of us, we have to contribute to build a world that we want to live in, and that's for ourselves, for our children, even for our children's children. For social design, I also want to talk about SDG 5, which focuses on gender equality, and SDG 10, looking at reducing inequalities. And although these two are not part of the 7 original design-led SDGs put forth by WDO members, they are nonetheless extremely relevant in the context of urban design and development. So the questions are, how can we design for inclusion? Of course, designers are well known in the creation of products, services, systems, and experiences. But today, the profession has great opportunity to also engage in solving problems using design as a tool for social improvement. I would say that gender equality is not a subject where we as designers think we could have a lot of effect. Finally, I would like to talk about SDG number 17, which happens to be focusing on partnerships. So this includes public, private, and even civil society partnerships, and the sharing of knowledge, which allows the building of experience and the resourcing strategies to support the achievement of SDGs, hopefully in every country. Because within the whole design profession, it's really not feasible to do everything by yourselves, right? We have to work together with other disciplines in order to extend our reach and in order to provide a benefit which actually works. Collaboration is known to be the new competitive advantage. It's bigger than one person, and it's bigger than one company. I think nobody knows this better than the Taiwan Design Research Institute, because TDRI is designed to be interdisciplinary, merging technology with human-centered design and with design thinking, and working together with other disciplines so that design solutions can be the best they can be. We know that far more can be accomplished with more involvement than with less involvement, especially for sustainable development. And the creation of partnerships can benefit human development along with environmental and social improvements. In this way, the WDO and the international design community becomes both a global as well as an extraterrestrial design community. I want to close by coming back to the subject of COVID, and also to talk a little bit about the impact I believe the pandemic will have on the industrial design community in the long run in terms of both challenges and opportunities. But first, I want to say that I hope all of you and your families are doing okay, and that you are fine, and that you are safe. It's very important for all of us to make sure we can work and live and survive through this pandemic. And hopefully, our lives can return back to normal in the near future. COVID-19 has created significant challenges for the world. But all of us in design know that with every challenge brings also opportunity. And this is true for the design profession, which has played a significant role over the last few months on dealing with the COVID-19 urgency. I have seen designers work together to solve issues related to coming up with ways to communicate even basic information about the virus, best practices for behavior using, for example, digital solutions, also designing safety equipment like PPEs, personal protective equipment. Also on how to solve issues related to mental health, and also how to deal with the more vulnerable populations. With many countries around the world feeling pressure to reopen their businesses and economies, but where infection rates continue to increase, we need to begin thinking about how design can help the world live for a longer term with COVID-19. We know today that there's no cure at the moment, and yet we still need to live our lives and make the best of a terrible global situation. Design has the opportunity to play a significant role for our society and to take the opportunity forward to help make our lives better, even during the pandemic. I believe this is only getting started. The world is seeing that disasters, whether they happen to be natural, whether they happen to be man-made, have changed the way we live our lives. And this is due to fears and also precautions that arise from the disasters. Greetings, how people greet each other, and handshaking, and even physical money may become a thing of the past. Many places will need to be redesigned to manage social distancing, including any location where people interact on a daily basis. This includes schools, it includes banks, airports, sports bars, hospitals, grocery stores, shops, restaurants, you name it. We've seen transparent barriers which have been put into place, and everything that we touch may be handled, which may be handled by multiple people, will need to be redesigned for safety. Digital and virtual interactions for education and professional work are already commonplace. Also, services for remote banking, grocery stores, and food delivery are already commonplace. Both design and technologies will for sure play a strong role in finding solutions on living with this pandemic. Taiwan, in my opinion, has already the best reputation in the world for high technology manufacturing and top-level education. So combined with great ideas and great invention, Taiwan is also taking a leading global role in technology and innovation. Design, of course, is a big part of that emergence. Today, Taiwan has many leading world-class companies with the highest standards for products and services, and which span all industries. I think many companies and many other countries as well have already been looking to Taiwan to also learn best practices. The World Design Organization, we are proud to have 7 extremely innovative and prominent members from Taiwan. If you connect this to our global membership, which has over 170 member organizations worldwide, we connect to somewhere between 300 and 400,000 designers around the world. The WDO believes that design can create a better world, and this includes promoting and sharing knowledge of design-driven, design-led innovation that enhances the economic, social, cultural, and environmental quality of life. Thank you very much again for your kind invitation and for your extremely warm reception. I want to wish you all a lot of great presentations, great dialogue, great connections, and the opportunity to work all together to make the world a better place and to design for a better world. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, next we'd like to welcome Hsinchu City Mayor Chih-Chien Lin. He's going to share with us how to bring the concept of design into the policy-making process and use design to facilitate the development of high-tech industry. Let's welcome Mayor Lin.
首先要先讲一下我们这座城市的特色了哦。新竹市是一个小而美的城市，104平方公里，那我们人口大概45万人，但是新竹市是一个小而美、小而伟大的城市哦。我们有非常独特的城市 DNA， 3高1低，所得很高，学历很高，这个出生率也非常高。那我们的人口结构也是全国县市里面平均年龄最年轻哦，只有大概还不到39岁。那也因此哦，我在担任市长的时候，我就发现说，这样一个特别的城市，这么一个有魅力的城市哦，那我们如何将它原有的这一些城市的古迹或者是这个城市累积下来的丰富的文化的底蕴，要把它呈现出来。那我觉得透过设计力的导入，然后让公共建设很自然而然的在这个城市里面，让使用者生活便利，让生活在这里的人感到一切美好，这件事非常重要。所以我就启动了这样子将设计力带入公共建设，透过设计力的导入，然后让公共建设不仅让市民生活更加便利啦，所以更重要的就是让这些古迹群因为重新的身份的认定活化指定，然后修复活化，那让人进到了这个空间里面，所以整体来说给市民的感觉就变得很不一样。透过设计力的导入，然后来重新形塑城市的样貌，透过公共建设的投入来改变哦。我觉得有几个关键啦。第一， 我们一定要找到这个专业的人才哦，因为公共建设，尤其是都市空间的规划，还有硬体设备的这个建构，其实它是非常非常专业的学问。那市府的同仁过去他们的背景里面，有的会有这样专业的背景，但也有很多的同仁其实没有这样专业的背景哦。所以我觉得最好的方法就是找到专业的人才。所以我启动了一个重大工程会议哦，那每一周的礼拜一，那我们将这个城市里面未来需要做的这些公共建设，透过这个会议里面邀请专家学者邀请这个规划团队，然后邀请我们市府的同仁，透过这样不断的讨论，然后凝聚那个共识，然后一起创造出这些民众所期待的公共建设。所以其实刚开始我在担任市长的时候，其实我们有很多上位计划，好比说城市的都市的规划需要一个2050城市愿景。那如果说就城市区域的建筑，那我们可能就想周边的环境，然后这个建筑在这当中的一个关系，那或者是说我们要创造一个城市的民众使用的习惯，好比说，我认为这个城市的尺度非常适合透过步行的方法进到旧城区来认识这一些古迹群，所以我们就要建制这一所谓的步行城市。那这个也是需要其他的上位计划，整体来看这个城市旧城区的范围，那哪里要串联这个水圳，哪里要把这些公园绿地串联起来所以这样子的工作都在这个重大工程会议里面来凝聚。那第一找到专业的人才，那第二用设计力的导入，那第三就是我们去以人民的需要为第一优先考量来做这样的建设。那我想这几年来，新竹市就因为这样的一个重大工程的会议，已经打造了很多新的公共建设，也创造了很多具有美感的公共建设，也让很多旧的空间重新活化，而且让更多人进来。举几个比较民众也特别有感，然后那个改造之后格外鲜明的比如说新竹公园的改造。那新竹公园是1916年在日治时期打造的一个旧城区里面核心的一个公园，28公顷。但是因为不同时期的人进到了这一个城市的治理之后，每一个人依自己的需求，把这个公园切一块、切一块、切一块。到我接手的时候，这一个公园已经有6个局处单位在做管理。那会发生什么状况？它就是会被阻隔，因为它为了便于管理，它可能做铁栅、做了围墙。可是对民众来说，一个完整的公园被切割得非常的零散那这个都是一个错误的一个做法。所以我一上任之后，我们启动了一个所谓新竹公园1912园区的一个改造计划。那整体来看，这个公园里面有丽池，公园里面有新竹市立动物园，公园里面有体育馆，公园里面有体育场，公园里面有孔庙。那我们整体的来盘整这个公园，它未来要如何让它第一步行要全部串联起来，第二相对的所有的这些公共空间如何活化，如何共同来使用，那这些都是我们在做这个工作上的时候所去努力的事情。所以现在因为设计力的导入，像新竹市立动物园它是全台湾原址现存最久的动物园。你看现在这个动物园不仅新竹人非常喜欢，很多外地来到新竹的朋友也一定要来到新竹动物园看看这些可爱的动物，来到这个非常这个现代化的建筑的动物园，新旧融合冲突的动物园来参观。那动物园是其一，那另外还有一个微笑水岸。新竹市是一个被水环绕的城市，有这个头前溪，我们在头前溪的左岸也有17公里海岸线。那过去这里没有串在一起，那我们在这一次整体的计划里面，把它改造成一个微笑水岸， 把新竹左岸10公里加上17公里的这个17公里加起来27公里，所以喜欢骑乘自行车的朋友，来回有54公里哦。那沿线的这个风景都不一样哦，绝对比你在家里或健身房骑脚踏车、踩飞轮来的有趣的多。那四季好或者不同时间，那个整体的空间感跟周边的环境都不一样。我想这个对运动的人来说，增加它的趣味性。那另外，新竹南寮渔港的改造也是非常典型的例子哦。现在渔港已经变成年轻人打卡的盛典。那有一个鱼鳞天梯，那这个都是透过设计力的导入带来的改变。我常常在讲，市长要做的事情不是市长想要做什么，而是市民需要什么哦。所以我们在公共建设的规划上也是如此。第一，一定要以市民为优先，以人为本。你要创造一个民众未来会一去再去，他会非常喜欢使用的这个公共空间的建设哦。那第二呢，这个尊重专业非常重要哦。每一个人所受的这个训练都是不一样的。像我们市府同仁也有很多他们专业的领域，可是建筑这个事情或美感这个事情，它有非常专业的需要一个很专业的一个训练。那我们在这几年在这个公共建设上，我们都邀请到很多台湾最专业的老师来担任评审。那自然而然吸引了很多希望在自己这个建筑创作上留下作品的年轻建筑师都来参与这样的一个投标。那所以有这样的一个专业的人才进来了之后，自然能够规划出很好的公共空间哦。那当然最后其实就是减法的设计。其实如果大家有注意看台湾不是只有新竹市，我们很多很多的城市都一样。然后这个地方的建设，因为不同时期、不同的这个主事者他的喜好不同，那可能就会在一个空间里面一直增加了很多其他跟原来这个空间完全是不相容，而且是相当违和的这种多余的设施。那其实这几年我们做很多事情就是减法设计，把不需要的东西其实只有拿掉而已。你就是一直把不该在这个空间里面的东西把它拿掉，那自然而然这整体的环境就会很好哦。所以这几年来我们大概以这3大原则导入我们的公共建设。那显然民众看到了城市的改变哦。那新竹市是一个年轻的古城，它是一个相当有魅力的一个城市哦。我们也希望这几年来的这种新竹经验，可以透过这样一而再再而三的累积，然后透过制度的建立，希望它能够在这座城市一直延续下去。那也不只是如此，我们也希望能够将这样的新竹经验来跟更多的地方政府来分享。希望藉由这样子大家互相的交流，把好的公共建设带入了我们台湾这个土地，让这个城市这个土地都越来越美好。因为这几年我们在设计力导入公共建设上做很多，所以我们也跟台湾很多顶尖的建筑师、年轻的建筑师，又或者是做设计的这一些年轻朋友有了这样的一个合作关系。那我深刻的感受到说，台湾的设计力是非常有影响力，而且都相当的有实力哦。那我也希望借由这个台湾设计展1年1度的这个台湾设计展，让年轻人有一个发挥的舞台。那更重要的是，在我们这几年的公共建设的改造上，能够把它媒合在一起。那来到这里，你不仅可以看到台湾这些顶尖的设计师，他们不管是平面设计、工业设计、建筑设计，都能够在这里展现之外，更重要的是，你来到这座城市，可以看到这几年来新竹市政府因为设计力的导入公共建设让整个城市的这种样貌，甚至于生活的习惯，就是民众居民的生活习惯，也都因此而有所改变哦。那好比说， 步行就是一件事哦，步行城市是我们一直在推动的一个非常重要，让以人为本行人优先的概念导入在这个城市里面。那我们希望透过更多的步行环境养成民众的步行习惯，然后降低这个私人运具的使用。那我想不仅会让这个城市环境更好，那当然这个绝对是最爱地球的一个方法哦。那台湾设计展已经在经济部的这种主办之下，已经迈入10几年的时间了哦。那我们希望今年在后疫情时代能够借由2020的台湾设计展在新竹 Chih-Chien 新竹人来疯，邀请大家，当你来到这座城市的时候，登陆这座城市的时候，同时这座城市也登陆你哦。那希望大家能够在2020台湾设计展看到我们台湾年轻人的设计力，看到我们这个国家的软实力。
Our next speaker is Pradyumna Vyas, board member of WDO World Design Organization. He's going to share about an urban regeneration project that bridges the old and new, the tradition and modern lifestyle. Let's welcome Mr. Vyas.
Very good morning. My name is Pradyumna Vyas. I am the executive board member of World Design Organization, and I was director of National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad in India, which is the oldest design school in the country. And I spent 30 years in that design school, which is on the bank of Sabarmati River, the river which is dividing the city in old city and new city. And this river was almost like giving the water to this historical town, as it's a 600-year-old city. And over the years, over consumption of the river was almost dead. It was not having any water. People were throwing the junk into the river, and it was almost like slums were coming on the bank of Sabarmati. Lots of encroachment was there. People were doing farming on the riverbed, and overall it was an eyesore for the city, and it was not accessible to the city people to go to the river because it was stinking. It was not having any kind of connectivity with the people other than just throwing the junk. And municipal corporation of Ahmedabad started reviving the project and came out with this most innovative idea of a riverfront project, and to put life into the river, so the water again flows into it and people interact with this whole river again. And I think it was a very, very ambitious project, because the 12.5 kilometers stretch where the old Ahmedabad old city and the new city, both the sites were there, they said that we have to first of all bring water into the river, because which was dry all round the year except the monsoon season. There was a water, otherwise there was no water into the river. So they say we have to bring water into the river, and if we can bring water round the year, I think we would be able to create, they thought they would be able to create a very good connectivity with the river. So it so happened that there is one canal going from 15 kilometers away from the city. Canal is transporting the water in Gujarat, and the municipal corporation and government thought that why not siphon the water from canal to this dead river, and see that if we can recharge the river and have some water coming from canal to the river, because end of this 12.5 kilometer, there was a barrage, there was a small dam kind of thing which can stop the water, and that barrage is part of 12.5 kilometers. So then they siphoned the water from the canal to the river, and that way the river started flowing again. That was one of the major things, that how to bring the water into the river. Now, this was a project where they said that how we really work out the banks of Sabarmati, and then first task was to display the slum people who were living on the bank of river, to rehabilitate them, and the government convinced them that we are going to give you a better housing, we will give you a better location to live, we are not going to really hurt you because you are making your livelihood, we will give you free of cost these houses away from the river bed. And then they convinced 10,000 people who were living on the bank of Sabarmati were given the new flats. And those flats were the first thing is that they moved respectably these people to the flats, so the river banks were empty. And then they started working out that we have to really create the pathway, and then we have to create the gardens around the things, and the sewage which is coming from the city into the river, they had to lay the line of the sewage parallel to the river, so that the sewage is not going into the river. That first is rehabilitation of the people who are there. Then they started working where people were living. The garbage which was coming from the city to the river, they started putting a garbage line or the sewage line, not getting any water of the city to the river, and they kept the city to the river totally clean, and sewage water was a parallel that you can see it into the slide, where the sewage water is all being worked out. They also measured the flood. They say that maximum flood level, how much the flood will come into the city. And I tell you, since I was living on the bank of Sabarmati, I have seen the entire project. I have seen the project when people were living the slum, they were moved, and then this water came in, and then they started working out on the bank of rivers, and they created filling up the soil in such a way that the flood water is not going to be hampered. The flow of the river will remain very good. So what they did, where the slums were there, they cleaned the space, they made the sewage line first, and afterwards they started making the flat area on the bank of both the sides on the Sabarmati river. And they had measured 100 years the flood, how high water goes. And then they created the wall, both the sides of the river, which you can see, in such a way that the flood water will never come into the city. And that flood water will not come. So the city was protected with the flood. The flood used to come earlier, but with this project, the walls which were created as part of the riverfront project, the flood water would not go into the city. Now, the point comes is that the vertical walls which were created both the sides of the river, then it goes horizontal onto the road level. So they created a parallel road with this 12.5 kilometer length, and it is the largest one where the transportation is also happening. And then those flat surfaces which were created, where the gardens, the park, all those things which were made, which almost like you can say that the thing where it was with full of filth, people were washing clothes, people were throwing junk, and everything was finished. And the water was in the river, and any given time 8 feet to 9 feet water for 12 kilometer distance. It can go up to 12 feet water depth into this 12.5 kilometer depth. So the water is there. Then vertical walls. The vertical walls were grounded very deep into inside the ground, so the flood will not disturb it. And then it goes to the flat surface 3 feet above the water. So the flood comes, then it goes up, and then vertical walls come for 20 feet high, which will not allow flood water to go inside. And then after 20 feet, it again goes straight. And then they started developing the gardens, the recreation things, and I have witnessed everything, that the yogas are happening in the morning, and people are walking, cycling, water sports. it turned around. It turned around the city completely, and you have to see to believe it, that how a project, a proper design can change completely. Now what happened is that it is not only the beautification of 12.5 kilometers, but the building area, the land which was next to that, they started creating the gardens, yes, and also recreation sports facilities on the riverbed, and then also the part of it they started giving it for the commercial activities. So once these commercial activities were given, that the people were having a big official building and complexes on the bank of river, so that like in London, the Thames River, a lot of these good offices which are there, same way the city has great offices on the bank of this river, and they are still in the process of selling the land. The land price has gone up like anything, and they are recovering the cost of the project through leasing out this land next to the riverfront for the office buildings and other commercial things. So what happens in all around the year? First of all, because of the slums, city people were not able to go to the river, because it was full of what you call sewage, and people were throwing plastics and junk and all, and so people were not interacting. They were interacting only with the bridge. They could see the river, but otherwise bank they were not able to see. But when this whole thing has happened, it's a crowded city of 6 million people. The population of Ahmedabad is 6 million people. It's a very, very, I would say, congested city. And suddenly you see, and it's a business hub. By the way, the Ahmedabad is a business hub of the country. And a lot of business, small to medium enterprises are there. And they were doing this. So, after 8 o'clock, it's a warm city also. So the nightlife is very interesting. So you will find that the gardens which were made on the bank of Sabarmati, people are coming in the night, just recreation is happening with the family. So the family started going out into the river and then recreating. Our festival is happening, the kite festival is happening, the speeches of the politicians and the yoga teachers and all those things are happening. Cycling is happening, and even the boat and the floating platforms have been created. Overall, it's a festivity round the year. People have place to go and eat food over there on the bank of the river. People, it has really created the mood of the city people. It has brought happiness into the people, that how you can be happy with the design. And I think the design's role here in designing the public spaces is that how to bring down the stress level of people. And this project is such a wonderful project, which I see that in the morning, the people who are walking and doing yoga come to the place. Afternoon, the park and gardens are always active. Evening, the eateries are active, and the book show and other things are active. So overall, I think the people are discovered themselves in the city, and they have actually come in touch with sense of belonging to the city, and they are not damaging. They are not putting any kind of graffiti. They feel that yes, that has brought some happiness in their life. And for common men, it is not only that any common man, the garden exists, and I think the all global leaders, they have visited the riverfront project. And to tell you that the city where Ahmedabad in Gujarat is, the Prime Minister of the country, Mr. Narendra Modi, come from this city. And he's very proud about, because when he was a chief minister, that project carried out. It must have carried out for the duration of 10 to 12 years, which I had witnessed right from the day one. And I feel very nice, because it has totally turned around the life of the people. It has created a lot of income generation activities of the people, the joy of the children to participate, the joy of the family, the joy of new businesses which have come out. people started taking care of their cities because such a good thing has happened. Maybe the data is not there, but I feel even the antisocial element, antisocial activities have also gone down because people are there on the river. When slums were there, maybe it was not safe to walk there, but it is totally safe because it is being totally covered. So I would say that design certainly can modify the attitude of the people, behavior of the people. If you trust people and create something, the people also respect it. And in design, it is always give and take. And I always feel that we must have a long-term vision, because these projects takes 10 to 15 to 20 years to realize. And there is a lot of hardship to displace the people, and the people who are living next to the bank, they also go through hardship when the work is going on. And if you have patience, I think it helps in improving the quality of life of people. And it really brings an element of happiness in people's life, children's life. And you also feel very proud that you're part of this city, and where such kind of thing is there. I think a lot of cities in India started looking into this model and replicating it, because it certainly beautified the city. And also, it is not that only beautification. The water level of the city has gone up very good, and the water level has gone up so much that the water supply is there all the time. So water supply to the city. So we have no problem of water at all in the city. It used to be we are very close to desert, so it was very difficult to have a water. Now water is almost at a ground level. So it has also sorted out the water problem into the city. So I would say that very good project which was conceived and designed and developed, which has changed the life of the citizens of the city, and they feel very much happy about the whole thing. This is what the story which I want to share. So thank you very much, and you please have a look to the video and some of the slides which will be there, which will give you the visual appeal of this project, that how this project has really changed from slums and dirty river to beautiful river. Thank you.